Thank God, Iran announced on Wednesday that it was halting missile strikes on Israel for now, but it would retaliate if provoked again. It has further warned Israel of more serious consequences for further Israeli attacks. Israel and the US have promised retaliatory measures against Iran, which raises fears of an expansion of the conflict, Reuters reports. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Arakchi said his country's attack had ended, but that Tehran would respond with a stronger and more powerful reaction if provoked. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the attacks, which included more than 180 ballistic missiles, calling them a big mistake by Iran, and promised retaliatory strikes. According to Iranian sources, the missile strikes were aimed at Israeli military bases in response to Israeli attacks in Lebanon and Gaza. The US has said it will work with Israel to ensure severe consequences for Iran. President Joe Biden described the Iranian attacks as ineffective and emphasized Washington's full support for Israel. Meanwhile, the UN and European Union have called for an immediate ceasefire and an end to violence in the region. Israel resumed its bombardment early Wednesday on southern suburbs of Beirut, a stronghold of Iran-backed Hezbollah group, with at least 10 airstrikes targeting targets associated with the organization. Israel has issued new evacuation orders for the area, which is now largely emptied after days of heavy strikes. The General Staff of Iran's armed forces threatened in a statement carried by state media that any Israeli response would be met with massive destruction of Israeli infrastructure. Iran has also warned that it will attack the regional assets of any Israeli ally that engages in a possible retaliatory strike. Fears that Iran and the United States could be drawn into a regional war have grown with escalating Israeli attacks on Lebanon over the past 2 weeks. On Tuesday, Iranian forces used hypersonic missiles Fatah for the first time, with 90% of them successfully hitting targets in Israel, the Revolutionary Guards said. Israeli army spokesman Admiral Daniel Hagari said central and southern Israel had suffered limited strikes. A video released by the military shows a school in the central city of God Tehran that was severely damaged by an Iranian missile. The US Navy fired more than 10 anti-aircraft interceptor missiles against Iranian missiles aimed at Israel, the Pentagon said. Britain said its forces played a role in attempting to prevent further escalation in the Middle East, without giving details.
Iran conducted a significant attack against Israel today, launching approximately 200 ballistic missiles, targeting several locations in Israel. We condemn these reckless attacks by Iran, and we call on Iran to halt any further attacks, including from its proxy forces. During the attack, the U.S. military coordinated closely with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel. U.S. Navy destroyers deployed to the Middle East region supported the defense of Israel by firing approximately a dozen interceptors against the incoming Iranian missiles.
Iran said that they gave a heads up to the U.S. and to Russia. How much warning were you given by Iran?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any pre-warning by Iran about their potential attack. As you know, this is something we've been following very closely for a while, based on the threats of retaliation by Iran. And so we've been closely consulting with Israel for a while now to be prepared in the eventuality. And as today demonstrated, we were prepared, and we were able to successfully work alongside Israel to defend them from this attack.
The Iranian regime has launched over 200 ballistic missiles at civilian targets in Israel. It's too soon to assess the impact fully, but I utterly condemn this attempt by the Iranian regime to harm innocent Israelis. We stand with Israel, and we recognize her right to self-defense in the face of this aggression. Iran must stop these attacks, together with its proxies like Hezbollah. Iran has menaced the Middle East for far too long. chaos and destruction brought not just to Israel, but to the people they live amongst in Lebanon and beyond.
ന്യൂസ് ഡെസ്ക് കൗമുദി ഗ്ലോബൽ.